Bird Box is currently streaming on Netflix as of yesterday. It stars Sandra Bullock, Sarah Paulson, John Malkovich, and many others. My God, this has a lot of familiar faces, and they were well utilized because the acting in this is great. I was like, oh wow, this is extremely well shot. This is a gorgeous looking movie, man. This is high budget. I think there's like $20 million. Netflix went all out for this one. This had unfortunate timing though, because this is undoubtedly going to be unfairly compared to A Quiet Place. Now, this is a novel that was written before A Quiet Place, so if you want to get into that whole, what came first argument, I don't think that that's necessary. Honestly, I would think you need to watch these as two completely separate things, and honestly, they're not that similar. Yes, they have similarities for sure. It's a post-apocalyptic world. There's a sense that can get you in trouble. In A Quiet Place, it's hearing. In this one, it's sight. So yes, there's similarities. Honestly, I would say just story-wise and the way things are unfolding, this is more like M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening, which I know a lot of people hate, but this is like the good version of The Happening. I didn't hate The Happening. I thought it was fine, but this is a better version of The Happening, although obviously it is different. I will say though that the one standout here for me, if I had to pick one person who stood out in this film, it's Trevante Rhodes from Moonlight and The Predator. I really enjoyed him in both of those movies, and I really enjoyed him here. I thought he was great, and I really like this guy. I like his charisma. I like his presence. I like everything about him. I do hope we get to see him more in the future, hopefully as some kind of action star or something. I think he would be great for that. So I look forward to seeing it. And here's another really cool thing about this movie that we almost never see. This is totally flipping on Hollywood on its head and doing the opposite of what's norm. And instead of having a 54-year-old man picking up and bagging a 28-year-old woman, we have 54-year-old Sandra Bullock, who looks wonderful for her age. She looks wonderful for any age, hooking up with a very attractive 28-year-old man, a younger man, and them having a little thing going. I was like, wow, cool, good for them, man. This is about damn time. We always see this on the other end of things, but we never see it in this way. As far as the movie goes, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I think that the issues I had is I have a hard time enjoying movies like this without breaking down logic and questioning too many things. And with a film like this, you really can't do that, but I'm unable to not do it. So there was so many things that I was like, well, why did they do this? And why didn't they do that? And that's a little ridiculous. There's so many questions that I'm like, I don't see how. I don't see why. I don't like, and I guess that was hurting the film for me. And it does hold a lot of similarities to A Quiet Place when it just comes to the post-apocalyptic terrain, the way that they have to live. There's more characters in this one, and obviously these guys are allowed to talk out loud, so it makes for a different audio experience for sure. Quiet Place had that, had that tone where it was like everyone in the theater, you could hear their heart beating. It was so quiet. No one in my theater freaking spoke a word. There was like no eating of food or anything. It was just quiet as all hell. So it was a completely different experience. But as I said, just the way things are unfolding. Plus, the ending for me, I also have a bunch of questions being like, really? That's okay, but why and how and who? And so I kind of hurt my experience with this myself, to be honest. But overall, it's a very well-made movie. It's a very well-acted movie. There's just a lot of believability issues that I ran into, and that hurt the experience for me. And it also has a lot of similarities to The Happening. So it almost felt like a been there, done that film, but that's not the film's fault. You know, the film is well made, it's well done. And so as a film on its own, and I take it away from all that stuff, it's a damn good movie. I just found myself to not love it, but I did enjoy myself. So, yeah, what'd you guys think? Are you having fatigue after Quiet Place? Are you those people who are like, this is too much like A Quiet Place? I'm not. I don't even want to watch it. I have a few people who are like, it looks just like the carbon copy. I'm not going to watch it. It's not. It's not a carbon copy. It is very much its own thing. There are some really cool, clever things in here. Sandra Bullock kicks ass in this movie. I do want to say that. Her character is badass. She is not some damsel in distress at all. She is very tough and, not in an over masculine way. She's just a survivor. And I really dug that about her. And the little girl in this movie, because it kind of flashes back and forth in time. The little girl in this movie is adorable. Oh my God, this is the cutest little girl I've seen in years in a film. Adorable kid. And of course that adds something to it, to me as a dad of a daughter, and just, being in that situation. But another thing I want to say is, like, who the hell wants to live like this? This is like, the people who died are lucky. I can't remember what tagline it is, like what movie this is the tagline for, but it's like, the lucky die first or something like that. This is that kind of scenario where, this and freaking A Quiet Place. Who the hell wants to live like that? I don't want to live like that. You want to fucking live like that? Gross. I don't think I could let myself die, to be completely honest. I mean, yes, I would fight like them and I would stay, but I wouldn't want to live in that world. Like, if I had the choice, I would be like, nah, I'd rather die. But I know in the moment I would still fight to survive, because that's just human nature, and it's easy to say, but who the hell? I watch Walking Dead all the time. Like, who wants to live like that? That's just awful. Awful times. But yeah, it's going to be a big one. Lots of people are going to be watching it. I look forward to hearing what you guys thought of it, for sure. Netflix. Netflix has had a lot of good movies this year. A lot of good horror movies. A few bad ones. But it's been a pretty stellar year for Netflix. So I look forward to seeing what they have for us in the years to come. So